So many of us struggle with a sense of unworthiness and not feeling good enough. In this video, I'm going to get to the root cause of why you feel unworthy, and I'm also going to share 2 simple but powerful exercises to get you on the road of self-love and self-healing. Stay tuned. Hello, beautiful soul. How are you? It's great to see you. In this video, I'm going to be talking about unworthiness, how we get to unworthiness, and how we can get out of it. So first things first, why do we start feeling feelings of unworthiness? When do we start feeling like we're not good enough? And it all goes back to our past, mostly in our childhood, even from other past lives if you believe in reincarnation. But at some point in our lives, we created what I call the separation from the source. So any time that you feel any negative feeling towards yourself, whatever that negative feeling is, it's just that you are separated. You have separated yourself from the source that you are. Some call it God, some call it source, some call it the universe. It doesn't matter what you call it, but you come from this beautiful, beautiful energy. You are an extension of the beautiful creative energy that has made everything that you see and everything that you don't see. And it's this sense when you separate yourself from this source, you start to create a lot of negative self-talk, self-loathing, and feelings like unworthiness. Sometimes that separation is reinforced by our family, by our friends, by society. It can start when we're children by just simply saying to us, you know, hey, you did something, you were a bad boy or a bad girl. Just talk like this. As soon as we start to have other people's expectations put on us, like, you need to get better grades, you need to do this better, you need to do this. As soon as we have these expectations put on us by everyone around us, we start to feel like, wait a minute, if I don't do these things, if I don't do more, then maybe I'm not good enough as I am this way. And so this kind of starts these separation from source. Sometimes people can separate from source through trauma. I've had people come to me and say, you know, I don't believe there's a God. I don't believe there's a source, because if there was a source, my child wouldn't have died. So a lot of times tragedy or very difficult circumstances in life cause us to separate from source. And remember though, this separation from source is really only an illusion of the mind. You can never cut the umbilical cord with home. You can never cut that connection that you have with God or with source, because that is you. It's impossible for you to truly and really disconnect from source, because it's you, it's who you are. But the illusion of separation can create a lot of suffering in our lives, and that's how the feelings of unworthiness begin. We take one step at a time away from the source, away from the truth of the source. And the truth of the source is that you are magnificent. You are so loved. You are so perfect as you are. You don't need to do one single thing in order to be loved, in order to be love. You are love. But all of the things that we live, all of the things that are told to us, all of the things that we begin to believe, if they're negative in nature, they can start creating this tremendous separation. And sometimes you can feel like you're 10 feet away from source. Other times, and this is my case for many years, you can feel like you're miles away from source. I had one woman recently come to me and say, you know, I would love to be able to get closer and closer to source, whatever that is. I don't even know if I believe in a God, but even if I did, I would have no idea how to even start walking towards her. And I thought that was such an interesting observation, because that's also how I felt for so long. Life circumstances, life challenges, tragedies, so many things that happen to us kind of start creating these beliefs. And our separation from source becomes more and more and more and more, until we get so lonely and so isolated and so lost. And it's at these moments when we start saying, wait a minute, no, I want to start walking back home. I want to start walking towards a deeper connection to myself, a deeper connection to God or to source, because that's really what it is. A deeper connection with source is a deeper connection with yourself, because that's what you are. So there's a little bit about how we start, what unworthiness is, how we even start feeling these feelings of not feeling good enough. It's simply simply that we separate ourselves. We create this illusion of separation from the source of it all. All right, so how do I begin to feel worthy? How do I begin to love myself again? Well, you do it one step at a time, right? Because it took many steps for us to get really far away from Source. So now it's going to take one step at a time for us to walk closer and closer and closer to union with ourselves and with God, or with Source, universe, whatever you want to call it. I used two really simple but sometimes hard exercises, and I'm going to share those with you. I've probably repeated these exercises countless times in videos, but you know, if you watch my videos, once I repeat something, it means it's important, right? So take note of it. Whenever I repeat something, it's super important. These two exercises, the first one, mirror work. And I'm going to share with you the simplicity of this exercise, but also some of the challenges with this exercise. When I taught this exercise to a client, she thought it was going to be really easy, and then she came back to me the next session. She said, "Hey, I did your mirror work exercise. Wow, was that hard?" Because it is. Because the way that I want you to do this mirror exercise is it's going to be very different from any other way that you've ever looked in the mirror before. Okay? These two exercises that I'm sharing with you, they are heart-centered exercises. They're not mind exercises. So the first thing before you even start doing these exercises is I want you to bring yourself into a heart-centered state. How do you even do that? You're going to quiet your mind. You can close your eyes if you want to. You can put your hand on your heart if that helps. And you're going to bring yourself into a state of being centered at the heart. You can feel your heartbeat. You can listen to yourself breathing. Just everything that you can do to bring your attention from your mind into your heart. Do this before starting any of these two exercises that I'm sharing with you, the first one of which is mirror work. Then what you're going to do when you're in this heart state, you're going to stand in front of a mirror, preferably in the morning when you just got up, so you've got no makeup on, your hair's all messy, you got drool coming out of your face, coming out of your mouth. So you look horrible by any standards, right? But I want you to do this exercise in the morning because I want you to remove all of the judgments. Usually when we look in the mirror, we are looking for imperfections. How's my makeup? How's my hair? What, do I need to shave here? Do I need to shave there? So we're looking in the mirror usually to spot imperfections, but in this exercise, you're looking in the mirror to spot perfection. You're looking in the mirror to spot the perfection of the soul that is staring back at you. This is a really powerful exercise. When I did this exercise for the first time, it was kind of I didn't even know I was doing an exercise. I was having a really bad day and I just happened to spot the mirror, and I looked at myself in the mirror and I just started crying. For 20 minutes I cried because for the first time, I think for the first time in my whole life, I was looking at the soul, the magnificent soul that had been through so much, that had been through her challenges, that had done the best that she could, and I was looking at that soul the way that God would look at me, really. So that's what this exercise is about. This exercise is about you looking in the mirror the way that Source would look at you. It requires a lot of heart-centeredness and a lot of love. You're going to look in the mirror and you're just going to gently stare into your own eyes. And you're going to see those eyes stare back at you in the reflection. And you're going to just look at yourself in this non-judgmental way for as many minutes as you want. You can have your hand on your heart and you can add mantras to it. I did it. I used to say, I'm doing the best that I can. I am loved. I used to do this in the mirror all the time. I still do sometimes. So this is the first very powerful exercise in getting you to step closer and closer and closer to your true nature, to your God nature. All right? That's the first one. The second exercise is an exercise out in nature. So you're going to go out in nature, you're going to sit, it could be in the forest, it could be by the ocean, wherever it is. I just want you to be immersed in nature. And then what you're going to do is you're going to start looking around. you're going to start, maybe you'll spot a bird flying by, maybe you'll see a dolphin jumping in the ocean, maybe you'll see some other animal like a butterfly or whatever, maybe you'll look at a tree and you'll see it swaying in the wind. Whatever it is, I want you to gently observe nature around you. And at everything that you observe, remember, you're in a heart-centered state before you even start this exercise. You're in a heart-centered state. You're going to observe, for instance, if you're observing a tree, you're going to look at that tree and you're going to start noticing how loved that tree is by the Creator. You're just going to notice that tree is swaying in the wind, and you're going to think to yourself, that tree is so loved. And then if a bird goes by, you're going to look at the bird and you're going to say, that bird is so loved. If you see a flower, a beautiful flower, you're going to look at that flower and you're going to say, that flower is so loved. Eventually, when you repeat this for however many natural things that you want to repeat this for, whether animals, flowers, trees, whatever it is, eventually I want you to come to a point where you put your hand on your heart and you say, I am so loved. The first time I did this was actually really emotional because I didn't do this on purpose. I was just looking around. I was pondering. I contemplate a lot. I'm a contemplator. And I was just contemplating, and I was immersed in nature, and I kept seeing like butterflies, and I kept thinking to myself, they were just flying by with just ease and joy. I could feel that, nature is so joyful all the time. And I remember saying, wow, this butterfly, it's so loved by God. I can see it's loved by God. And then the tree is loved by God. And I kept doing this until eventually something kind of popped into my mind. I thought, wait a minute, if the butterfly is loved by God, if the tree is loved by God, if the flower is loved by God, then I must be loved by God too. And that was such a powerful and beautiful exercise in self-love, because it was a moment where I felt one with my God energy. These are really, really simple but very powerful exercises that you'll find will help you take one step at a time closer and closer and closer to your God energy. The more that you can connect with God, and you can use any other techniques. These are just two of them that I'm sharing with you. But you can use any other exercises that help you bring yourself closer to a state of connection with your God energy. You are God. You are inherently the Creator. So the closer you get to this Creator energy, the more feelings like unworthiness and self-loathing, they just drop. Because the closer you are to God, it's impossible for you to ever think you are unworthy, right? The closer you are to source energy, the more you feel how worthy, how loved you are. It's impossible for you to not be good enough, not feel good enough when you're close to your source energy. There you go. I hope you enjoy these exercises. Let me know what you think. Head over to my website and comment there. I prefer to have the conversation in the comment section of my website, right below the article, right below the post that accompanies this video. Head over to my website. I'm looking forward to seeing you. I hope this video helps. I love you, beautiful soul. You are doing so well. See you soon.